Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today is my Matchday 14 Championship score predictions. Now I would just like to apologise for the lack of the Matchday score predictions recently. I've just been busy with college and life in general really. It's just been a bit hectic. But anyway, they should be making a return and I'm going to be a bit more consistent with them now, trying to bring them out as obviously every single match day like I was at the beginning of the season. But today is match day 14 and today is Friday, so the championship does kick off. The championship weekend does kick off today. We do start off with a London. We're going to get straight into it, and we do start off with a London derby tonight. Brentford play QPR at Brentford's ground. A bit of an interesting one, this one, because Brentford, obviously, I do feel like Brentford have enough quality to get into the playoffs this season. They've been a bit hit or miss with some of their results this season so far. So they'll be looking to finally pick up their form and get on a consistent run of wins and results in general. Whereas QPR, on the other hand, have started off pretty well. They've had a few dodgy results here and there, but other than that, they've played really well this season so far. So you've got to give QPR a lot of credit for what they've done this season so far. But I do think Brentford will get through this one and will take all 3 points in this London derby. I've gone with Brentford 2, QPR 1. On to Saturday now. The early kickoff, I believe it is. Reading take on Bristol City. Bristol currently sat third in the league. Reading sat sixth. Obviously, Reading have been on a bit of run of poor results recently. They're looking to start picking their form back up to how it was before, the international break, really. Before they went on them 3 straight defeats before the international break, but the form before that was exceptional. They hadn't lost. They were the only unbeaten team in the league for quite a while after Bristol's loss to Middlesbrough, which seemed like an age ago now. But it's going to be an interesting one. Reading play some nice footballs, but so do Bristol. I think they're going to cancel each other out in this game. I've gone with Reading 2, Bristol City 2. Then on to Birmingham City against Millwall. Millwall have been quite the resilient side that they like to be. Very hard to break down, tough to get a result against. Whereas Birmingham, on the other hand, try to play a lot more free-flowing football compared to Millwall. Obviously, Artur Karanka's men haven't had the best of results recently, but they'll be looking to pick that form back up. I do think that Millwall might just squeeze through this one and get all 3 points. So I've gone with Birmingham City 0, Millwall 1. Blackburn Rovers then take on Barnsley at Ewood Park. Barnsley have been on an exceptional run of form. Their most recent result, I'm not too sure actually. I can't remember if it was Nottingham Forest they played more recently or someone else. I can't remember. But Barnsley anyway have been on a fantastic run of form. So have Blackburn, to be fair. They've started picking up results where they should really be picking up results where they weren't earlier in the season. So it's going to be an interesting game, this one, I think. Again, the style of football that they both play, I do think they'll cancel each other out, and I think they'll be sharing the points. So I've gone Blackburn Rovers 2, Barnsley 2. Cardiff City then take on Luton. Cardiff have been massively underperforming this season, nowhere near to the standard they were last season, obviously in the playoffs. Very, very poor so far from Cardiff City. Luton Town, on the other hand, have been overperforming, if anything. But massive credit to what Nathan Jones and Luton Town are doing this season. They really are showing the league that they are here to stay, basically, and they're looking to push for promotion in the next few years. But they've really put a stamp of authority on the league this year, I feel. And just with Cardiff's poor run of form, obviously it's going to have to pick up somewhere later down the line. But at the minute, I can't really see Cardiff picking up that good of a result. And the way Luton are playing at the minute, I think they'll cancel each other out. I've gone with another draw. Cardiff City 1, Luton Town 1. Derby County then take on Wycombe Wanderers at Pride Park. Derby have been in possibly the worst form of the club's history, apart from the time they obviously finished with the lowest amount of points in a Premier League season. I just really don't know what's happened. The most recent result, obviously, a 3-0 loss to Middlesbrough on Wednesday night. They really do need to start picking themselves up. Derby rooted to the bottom of the table by 1 point now, after obviously Sheffield Wednesday drew 1-1 with Swansea earlier in the week. But Derby really need to start picking up their form. They were very poor against Borough the other night. They had a short spell where they were on top, but throughout that game we were all over them. We looked the team that was going to win. We looked like the team that was going to win the whole way through that game. Derby didn't really have any threat coming forward, and they really do need to sort that out. Otherwise, it could mean trouble for Derby towards the end of the season. Wycombe Wanderers, though, on the other hand, have been pretty decent. They've started to pick up some decent results here and there. Even if it's just a point, it's a decent point that they're picking up. They're putting a fight against the other teams. The question is, can they keep it up throughout the season? Obviously, I don't think they have that big a squad depth. So whether they can keep the players fit throughout this tough December period, or Christmas period, is going to be a massive question towards what Wycombe can actually do. And if they can keep on pulling results out the bag and picking important wins up and important points here and there, then there's no obviously question that they might stay up. But this is going to be a tough period for them to see if they can really start picking up results in this tough time. But I do think Derby might scrape a point with this one. I think Wycombe will be the most dominant team in this, to be honest. And I think Derby will be the one to luckily scrape a draw. I've gone with Derby County 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Huddersfield Town then take on my team Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough put up an exceptional fight. An exceptional performance, during the week. Obviously, like I've just mentioned, against Derby County, 3-0. Probably the best I've seen Middlesbrough play in since our promotion season. The football we were playing was quality. The players were on point. There was no real mistakes anywhere, and we were fantastic all over the field. Huddersfield have been pretty decent. Surprised a lot of people how quick they've managed to adapt to the Carlos Calderon style of football that he likes to play. They've adapted to it very, very quickly, but they haven't really been on the pushing for top half, really. I don't think. I do think Middlesbrough's form will help them, and obviously only one loss in our last 12 games, I think it is now. So we've really pushed on and put our stamp of authority for possibly playoffs this season. Obviously, I don't want to be too optimistic, but I think Middlesbrough will have the more confidence heading into this game. So I've gone Huddersfield Town 1, Middlesbrough 2. On to Norwich, take on Coventry at Carrow Road. Norwich, top of the league. They've finally found their form in this division after a bit of a rocky start. They've managed to pick up important wins and grind out decent results. Coventry, on the other hand, obviously started well, fell off, picked up a bit of form again, and I don't really know where they're about at the minute. But I don't think they'll have enough to contend with Norwich this game. I do think Norwich will get the better of Coventry. I think the quality levels will show. I think Norwich will just not necessarily batter Coventry throughout the game, but will be the more dominant side throughout the whole 90 minutes. And that's why I've gone with Norwich City 2, Coventry City 0. Rotherham then take on Bournemouth, and Rotherham have been pretty surprising this season, picking up decent results here and there. Maybe it is their time to not establish themselves as a yo-yo club between the Championship and League One. They're looking to stay up after being, they're looking to stay up in the Championship. Obviously, normally they are the team that comes up from League One, straight back down from the Championship, back into League One. But they've really shown a different side to Rotherham this season that we've seen in the past few seasons. But they take on a tough Bournemouth side who pulled off a brilliant comeback against Reading. I think was last weekend, or it might have been during the week. I'm not too sure. But they pulled off a brilliant comeback against Reading. And the Bournemouth side just looks dangerous every time it goes forward. The defence could do with a little bit of shaping up and just being a bit more solid at the back. But other than that, Bournemouth's attack is just ridiculous. And they could really, really show their quality in this game. And I think it will shine through. But I do think Rotherham will put up a bit of a fight for it. So I've gone with Rotherham United 2, Rotherham United 1, Bournemouth 2. Sheffield Wednesday then take on Stoke City. Sheffield Wednesday picked up a brilliant point during midweek, 1-1 with Swansea City away as well. So, travelling on to Wales on in a midweek game isn't the ideal scenario, but to come away with a point, obviously the minus 12 points at the beginning of the season didn't help them out in the position where they are. But they've still had a few shaky performances here and there. Obviously, they did lose to Wickham earlier in the season, I believe. But they've picked up results here and there, and obviously they've got Tony Pulis in charge. He plays, obviously, that defensive, solid football and tough to break down. They're coming up against a Stoke side that have been pretty decent so far. They're in and around the playoffs at the minute, so they're starting to show where they should be. Really, in my opinion, Stoke should be up there fighting for the playoffs. Unlike last season, obviously they were near a relegation scrap. But I think Sheffield Wednesday will grind out a result for this one. I don't think Stoke will be. I think it'll be difficult for Stoke to break them down. Obviously, Stephen Fletcher coming up against his old side in this one. But I think Stoke will find it hard to break Sheffield Wednesday down, and I do think Sheffield Wednesday will grind out a result. So I've gone with Sheffield Wednesday 1, Stoke City 1. Watford then take on Preston. Obviously, Watford have been in some brilliant form recently, pushing towards the top of the table with Norwich. Preston, on the other hand, have been pretty poor, dropping a few points here and there. Obviously, their away form, though, this season, it has been a lot better than their home form, so maybe that could counteract Watford. That could counteract how good Watford have been this season. It'll be an interesting game to watch, I think, this one, Watford-Preston, because I maybe Preston could pull off a bit of a surprise result. We don't know, but I have gone with a Watford win. I've gone with Watford 2, Preston 1. On to the final game of the weekend on Sunday. Nottingham Forest take on Swansea City. Now, Forest have really not picked up much form recently. Obviously, a lot of people might have questioned they might have started to pick up form when they picked up a few wins earlier in the season, but it wasn't meant to be. They're obviously not performing as well as they did in those games, and they're still towards the bottom the bottom end of the table. They really do need to start picking up form very, very quickly. Otherwise, they could be in a relegation scrap along with Derby at the end of the season if them two keep going the way they are. I don't think they will, so I think they will be fine towards the end of the season, but they do need to start picking up form soon, because Nottingham Forest and Derby, both teams that should really be in and around the playoffs for the majority of the season, and Forest is one that should be in the playoffs for the majority of the season, if not all of it. But they've really been poor this season, really letting themselves down. Like I mentioned, Swansea during midweek drew 1-1 at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Not the best scenario for them to be dropping points there. They have dropped a few points here and there recently, but I think they'll be looking to obviously pick up their form again. And I do think they will pick up all 3 points in this one. Just with Forest's poor form, I think it will affect morale. And I think Swansea's quality might show through a little bit. And it'll probably... they'll be the most dominant team throughout this game, and I do think they'll pick up all 3 points. I've gone with Nottingham Forest 0, Swansea City 2. Very interesting game to watch out for, I think, that one. Anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. It'll be massively appreciated. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. That will also be greatly appreciated. I did a video a couple days ago, so if you don't mind going back and checking that one out, feel free. Anyway, guys, like I say, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be Sunday, I believe. So yeah, anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.